Hi there, it's Smithia Ford with RenalDietHQ.com, and today is the last day of August, and it's the last go live for the month of August. So I thought I have not really promoted any of my paid products this month, and I wanted to go over the latest book that I wrote that I have here. It's called Caring for Renal Patients, Renal Diet HQ Renal, Education Guide. And I just want to go through with you and tell you what's in it, show you the parts, because I think this book is really helpful for people who both have kidney disease and or have a family member that has kidney disease and they're taking care of them. So this book has a guide in it. I'll show you the table of contents. It has a guide that talks about caregivers. So a caregiver is the person who is taking care of the, oops, I gotta get used to this, how this camera works. Essential oils information, all those different kind of things. So it has an overview of chronic kidney disease for caregivers. So it talks about being a caregiver, and somebody who is a caregiver is under just as much stress as the person who has the disease, maybe even more, because they may be a caregiver for more than, just the one person. They may be responsible for children or other adults that they take care of. So this book just kind of gives you as a caregiver a way to understand kidney disease from that perspective, to understand kidney disease from the patient's perspective, and some of the tips to make a role easier. Learn as much as you can about your medical condition. So I would say that this is a great way to do that. Take breaks, find support, be an advocate for your loved one. Find a stress outlet, take care of yourself, help them, but don't do everything for them. Be realistic, ask for help, and keep a support network. So this is an excellent guide to kind of show you, okay, these are normal feelings. These are things that are okay for you to feel. Yes, it's stressful. Yes, you need to have time by yourself. You don't need to be with that person all the time. Help them, but don't do it for them. Let them, if they are doing something and they can do it, let them work through it. If you're doing long distance care, it has some guidelines to help you to manage that a little easier. Long distance would be like if you're caregiving for a parent and they're in another city, or they're even just across town. Here in Oklahoma City, across town can take an hour to get there. So it just goes through and kind of tells you things not to say, things to say, ways to help. And then it has a chronic kidney disease overview. So you may think, well, I know everything about kidney disease, but it just gives you some guidelines and information, tells you about the different stages. God, I hate this thing. And then it goes into some of the related conditions. And then it goes into Mrs. Murray's story. So she's a fictional patient, and it goes through the story of her with her children and going through the process of having a caregiver, a hired caregiver, because they're away from their family, and kind of how that works and what they did. What they decided to do in the end. She goes through the decision process of different types of dialysis and what would that involve, and based on her condition, talks a little bit about depression because that's pretty common, and talked about transplant surgery and dialysis, what she ended up doing, and talks about the daughter and the son, both their points of view and kind of how they split up their responsibilities, and then it tells you what happened. So one of the best parts about this book, in addition to obviously the other part, is this one, aromatherapy for the CKD patient and caregiver, because it tells you what essential oils you should use. So it talks about how to use them in a chronic health condition. It talks about how they work in your body, how much to use, how to blend them, what kind of ways you can use to add it to your body. So lotions, creams, direct, in, different kinds of things. How should you do it? Talks a little bit about reflexology, where to massage, and then it talks specifically about oils for the kidneys. So oils that you can use to help with your kidneys. So it gives an explanation of all of them, tells you some to avoid. So I think this is very important. Avoid aloe, buckthorn, camphor, capsaicin, cascara, chaparral, I'm probably saying all these wrong, cinnamon, comfrey, dandelion, ephedra, licorice, mate, nettle, noni juice, pennyroyal, rhubarb, sassafras, sagrada, senna. And then it talks about the fact that ginger, ginkgo biloba, garlic, ginseng, and feverfew all will thin your blood, so be careful with that. And then it tells you how to use which essential oils to use based on the condition. So it is awesome as far as I'm concerned with that. And it tells you where to buy them, what to do with that. And it has a little bit of a reflexology and renal disease. Tells you how to do reflexology. So this would be something that you could do with your patient or family member and how it will affect them. And I get a massage on a regular basis, and when they rub my feet, it just feels so awesome. So I think it's an awesome thing to do. Plus, it gives you the chance to kind of go over their feet. And a lot of times, if they're diabetic or they have other conditions, they may have poor circulation. So it gives you the opportunity to kind of rub those feet, get a little better circulation, check if there's any toenails that need to be done, check if there's any open sores, anything like that. It gives you a chance to check. And it'll just feel really good. And then there's a section on craniosacral therapy. And then another thing that you're probably really interested in is this section called the worksheets section. So these are all the worksheets that are in there, and they have an initial visit to the doctor, follow-up doctor visit, medication, allergies, questions, personal condition overview, sleep log, exercise log, healthy eating information, treatment for low blood sugar, and managing your fluid. So these are all things that I get asked about all the time. There's a link to get these downloaded directly in the book. And if you go here, like for example, your initial visit to the doctor worksheet, get it right spot. Here we go. So these are things, this is what you can fill out ahead of time. And basically, you can carry this with you and have it with you for all those times when your family goes to a doctor, you go to a new doctor, you're going to fill this out. It just helps you to remember it, especially if you have multiple people taking care of this person. So my dad was going to the doctor the other day, and I had to change the appointment because I wasn't going to be there, and I'm the one that knows all of his stuff. So I would write this down and then carry it or keep it with him. And that way, when somebody else took him to the doctor, he could have it and fill it out easily. And then any sort of follow-up visits, you have a little worksheet for. It has a medication tracking worksheet. And all of these you can copy and use, or you can download from the website. it has some specific questions that are recommended to ask your doctor. So I talked about that the other day, like how much it's good to talk to your doctor and ask them questions. This is kind of a personal overview that you can take with you that will have information about your doctors, because they always ask, like, what pharmacy do you use? And I always have a hard time remembering. And then there's a healthy eating for chronic kidney disease, grocery shopping tips, meal planning, eating meals, and healthy eating for chronic kidney disease, how to do diabetes, carb counting a little bit, some carb exchanges, snacks, ideas, how to treat low blood sugar, what counts as fluid in dialysis, and how to treat low blood sugar. It is an all-around guide for someone who is taking care of someone with kidney disease. So I wanted to go over it today because I think it's a really useful book. Obviously, I wrote it, but it's useful for people who have somebody that they have to take care of. And even if it's not chronic kidney disease, maybe it's just a chronic illness, you will find the worksheets in the back extremely useful. And you will find the aromatherapy information extremely useful, because if it's okay to use with kidney disease, then it's probably okay to use with most other conditions, because most people with kidney disease have like diabetes or heart disease in condition with it. So wanted to go over that with you today. Head on over to renaldiethq.com, and I will put the link to this book on Amazon, because it's on Amazon and you can buy it right now and have it in a couple days. And I look forward to talking to you soon. Look for next week on the 7th, the release of my first Zestify Your Diet video. And I have the other ones coming up every week thereafter. So have a great day. Head on over to renaldiethq.com or look below the video for the link to the book on Amazon.